Okay, after a series of cascading interruptions, let's try this again. So, I'm about to start pruning these two plants for the first time. The goal here is to clear out a bunch of this really dense stuff in the middle so that we can get a better sense of what kind of the main branches in here are and which ones we're going to want to keep to create kind of like the overall shape and structure of the thing. I picked these two up at a nursery recently. I think they were like $15 and $17. The little guy on the left is this Chamaecyparis, and the one on the right is also a Cham something, both a form of cypress. I believe these are both evergreen, so that tells you a little bit about how much I know about plants. But that's notable because you want to be pruning and repotting plants when they're dormant, since that means they'll have stored up energy throughout the year in preparation for pushing out a bunch of new growth in the spring. And then once they've used up their reserves to create that new growth, they spend the rest of the year storing up more energy. And with deciduous trees, it's much easier to tell because the leaves will turn brown or fall off, and it's very noticeable. I'm assuming / hoping that these guys have gone dormant at this point, and if not, oh well. Hopefully they will make it. So when I picked these out, like I said, it's super dense in the middle, and there's not a whole lot of big branches that we can see. We can sort of see a couple forming in there. So what I mainly went off of was the trunks, and this is fairly thin, generally speaking, but for this species that they had at the nursery, this was one of the thicker ones. And in addition to just the size of it, you can see how at the bottom here, this is already flaring out right near the surface. So hopefully this is the actual top of that root system, and we won't end up digging way down and ending up with a super long bare trunk. We'll have a nice little compact thing here. And then the way that this trunk leans over here, let's see if I can get some additional light in there. That lean on it, I think, is super nice. Much more interesting looking than just growing straight up out of the ground. So that was basically my deciding factor there when I saw how close to the surface it was and that nice little curve that it's got going on in there. I was like, all right, we're grabbing this guy. And similar story over here. Again, nice and thick. You've got that nice spread of the base right here. Haven't really dug down into it, so not exactly sure how far we're gonna go down, but this is just a nice little shape to form the base of this tree. So hopefully that root system just spreads out from there and we can keep it, again, nice and short. So I think I'm going to start with the smaller guy because I'm more excited about this big one. So delayed gratification and all that. You can see I've sort of set up some semblance of a workstation here. It was nice and sunny outside this morning, but it's gotten very gray and cold in the afternoon. So we're just gonna make a mess in here. I need to vacuum anyway, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. And I think with this, what I'm going to try to do first is just sort of dig down a little bit and confirm what that root system looks like down there. So it looks like it goes down pretty sharply after that initial flare. And again, don't really have any clue what I'm doing, but I've seen professionals doing something sort of like this, just sort of digging down, getting the lay of the land, getting the lay of the stuff under the land. I think I might actually try to cut away some of this so that we can get a better view in there. I also don't know how to use this camera, so we're just going to let it roll, and I will try to snip it out as needed. That's not working. Naturally, immediately discovering that I'd forgotten to get out certain implements that I had planned to have handy. That went way deeper than I wanted. Good thing these guys sit outside. Okay, and hopefully we can clear away some of this top layer and get a better idea of what's going on. So I don't have anything, well, I've got a couple of things to repot these things into, but no nice soil yet or anything. So they are going to chill in these pots for a while longer, which is what they'd be doing anyway. So hopefully that they don't mind that. Now, these are all various fine roots that have grown up to fill this little pot up along the back here. We shouldn't need those, so it should be okay for those to just kind of go away, because we're going to be clearing everything out. Oh, but that's cool. So I'm going to leave this little root alone, because that's nice and thick, so that could look pretty neat once everything's all said and done. So let's just get some of this out of here. Riveting content, as the YouTube professionals say. There's definitely a slightly more dense mass of roots over here on this side. Not so much on this little side that it's leaning towards. So we're definitely going to want this, I think, to be growing kind of like this, because it's got such a nice curve towards this side of it that makes it feel like it's hanging on for dear life off of something. Looks like we've got another one of those kind of thicker roots over here. I really like this bottom of this tree, this root system. I think this is very cool looking. That's Maybelline. She's expressing her displeasure that I'm sitting here and not paying attention to her. I also put the other plant in her little bag that she was sitting in, so I'm just public enemy number one right now. Okay, so I think that's about as far down as I want to go to get an idea. So we've got just this really nice spread off in this direction, giving it that nice swoop upwards. Let's bring in this light. You can see that root right there. That's a nice relatively thick root, and then there's a similar one somewhere over here, just still kind of buried but growing off over there. So a lot of neat little options and details to keep in mind. So now that we've decided that it's going to be growing out like this, we want to kind of get a rough idea of what sort of shape we're going to want. Because if it comes swinging out like this, we don't want the bulk of it to be on the underside of that, I don't think. We want it to be pushed up here and have that curve kind of following it as if something was swung out this way. So I think we're going to want like the major clump, I don't know if it would be the apical region, but that's a word that I've heard people use. It feels like there's a distinct clump over here, so there might be a branch somewhere in there. Yeah, this clump is a branch, and then we can maybe have a smaller clump down here. Dogs are getting feisty. Smaller clump here. I don't know if we're going to want all this, so I'm going to try to just clear stuff out so that we get a better sense of where these main branches are. Like here's, it looks like that's a branch. This is kind of a smaller branch over here. This is a fairly short one. Oh gosh, what have I got myself into? This is going to be difficult. So I guess it's fairly safe to start close to the trunk and just removing these kind of dead bits that haven't gotten any sunlight and have just sort of naturally died off. And stuff like this where we've got these two major, like it's a split trunk basically, and this little piece right here, this might not have grown a very large root system into that pot. It's feeling very wobbly. So all this dead stuff here can just come on out. That's a decently sized branch right there, so I'm going to try to not get rid of that. Trying to work around this camera here. Just really making everything as easy as I can for myself. So I want to clear out some of this so that we've got kind of isolated clusters. Let's take another look at this trunk here, because we want to have a front of it that's slightly less interesting for you guys to be looking at the pot while I'm looking at it. So despite how much I like this little root, I don't know if there's a good angle to show it off at, but we definitely want I think we definitely want this curve to be prominently displayed. And so if we have this side being the front, we've got one major branch coming toward us and one sort of away. And if we make this the front, oh gosh. So this is a difficult choice because I don't know if we want to keep both of these. This one follows that curve a lot more and looks like it has more stuff growing off of it that would make good branches. But then this one over here, that change in direction, kind of this curving up here, swinging back, coming back along this way, that might be cool too. But I don't know. I personally like this motion, this zigzag, but I don't know if that would work with the angles that we've got for this root system, because we definitely want this, either this side or this side. And I don't know if this branch has the length is that all that branch right here? Okay, so this branch goes all the way up here. So this kind of tallest point is all coming off of that branch. This clump right here is also coming off of it. And then this, all this stuff is coming off of this one. So with that in mind, I think we want to keep this as the main trunk, despite how much more this looks like it would be a natural extension of it, so that we get that height. And then if we go from this side, we can have that other main split be like this little front landing zone and have this one providing some height, and we can clear off a bunch of this stuff in the back. Okay, let's see if I can clean things up a bit more so that we get a better visual of that. I wonder if I can get this to go any lower. Okay, well, that's what we've got. Unless I put something under this to lift it up. That's too tall. A box of soda. Very flimsy, but you know, maybe it'll be all right. Just have to make sure that I'm holding on tight. Okay, so gotta get all this stuff out of here from the middle somehow. So we've got a ton of branches growing out of here, and we said this was going to be that main one. It's going to be like this. So this is the back. These branches here, they're all coming out of this same little spot. So we want to keep this big one, get rid of some of these smaller ones. Definitely these little guys back here. Clear. I'm probably going to overdo this just because I have so much fun snipping away at stuff. So who knows what we're going to end up with, but you live and learn. Or live. Or not live, as this plant's particular fate may be. So I want to create some space over here, I think. I want to get rid of these short little guys clogging up the middle. It's very difficult to keep the camera in mind when I'm staring at this. Being a YouTube celebrity must not be easy. Okay, this little guy, I can probably just pinch some of these off. So if this is going to be a branch, we might not keep this clump, but if we do keep it, we're going to want way less stuff on it near the middle. So off all these things come. Don't need you. And I got these fancy new scissors that I was super excited to use, and it might actually be easier. Well, I don't know, I might end up damaging something by pulling on it, so might also damage something by just cutting through it with the blades. These are pretty sharp. I think that's okay. Then this piece under here, this is a short little guy that's fluffing this section up. Where's this coming from? Nowhere. Okay. This is just a mess over here. Look at all those different things growing out of this one thing. So according to people who know what they're doing, when you have branches growing out of the same spot, it's called a whorl, and it causes a very undesirable thing called an inverse taper, which is when this swells up to support all those branches, so you get a thinner section of trunk and then a wider section. And supposedly that's very unappealing, and it usually is, but I have no idea how I'm gonna cut this down because it's such a mass just right here. Don't want to get rid of this guy just yet because it might form a nice little base thing there. I definitely think it's got too much going on right now. So I think this section can come off, all of that. Let's get you out of there. Okay, what have we got going on here? A whole lot of these little dead and dried up branches in here. They're just falling off as I touch them. Let's get rid of you. So, similar situation here as with this one. This branch is crossing over that guy, which we're probably not going to want. I'm going to try to put off cutting it off as long as I can, just because it is one of the more substantial branches and could provide a little separate thing, its own little pad there. But oh my goodness, this guy right here, we don't need that. And then this clump right here, let's see, that's that branch. Okay, so we're definitely not going to want this coming off of there, because that's bumping up on our other potential little pad. So alright, well, we're starting to see kind of the underlying tree here, so that's cool. There's a rock in there somehow. This section right here, those are very thin, and they're also very close to this guy that I'm growing rather fond of. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these. Try and create some space. And now I might want to keep whatever that's growing off to, but I definitely don't want this bit growing towards that pad. Where's that even coming from? Right there. Yeah, that was like growing down towards the ground, doing some kind of weird thing. Okay, so here we've got this weird little dude that can go. So I'm seeing like this bit right here, that branch, I think is what goes up to the top of the tree. So I'm going to try to isolate that a little bit. I'm just going to go in here and start snipping things away. Look at all that. Okay, well, the battery died on us, so everybody missed out on some extremely fascinating and insightful commentary. But I think I was just trying to clear out this area and noticing that I would like to have kind of a pad here, but there's like 4 or 5 separate little branches that would make that up. So that's not great. And I might just keep the biggest one. If I can decide which one the biggest one is, I think it's this one in the middle here. It's definitely not this. So I'm just gonna rip that off. Let's take a look from this side. So yeah, this one over here has kind of the nicest split. Oh gosh, now I've got a wiry from the battery pack to deal with as well. This little guy, I don't know how I'm gonna clean this up. That can go away. This mess, I would like to get rid of that. Can I just snip away at it? This is where you'd want like a little set of knob cutters or something, I think, because it's basically just a hunk of wood. Luckily these are brand new scissors and very sharp, so let's clear away more of this dead stuff. Okay, I think this needs to go. I don't really want it to go because it adds so much to this volume over here. But if I leave it, this section here is liable to just swell. And let's, oh gosh, look at all that. Okay, then we've got this is very long. I think I'm just going to try to clear off some of these side growths. Don't know how I'm going to get in there. Just poke at it until it comes out. Highly skillful technique. Okay, so there's a lot of not ideal stuff going on in this section, but I'm not really sure what's the best way to resolve that. We've got this branch crossing over here. Might be able to eventually wire that apart. This is a super long, thin bit, but it's providing a nice little bit of added volume. This guy is growing all over the place, so I'm not really sure what to do with this, so I'm going to leave it alone for now. And then here, this right here, oh, did I get myself confused? This is our main trunk over here. So we might be able to use this as that pad out front here. We might be able to get rid of all this nonsense. Just have this be a very minor one down here, bring this one down. Yes, then we don't need all this junk. We can have that weird little swoop there. Okay, well, knowing that, so this is our big cluster over here. Let's clear off some more of these little guys off of it. I don't even know if these are attached or if they're just sitting there. Oh, that one's just floating there, stuck. Get out of there. Okay, well, I really like how this section's starting to look. And given that this is not... Okay, so we don't want these two branches growing out of that same spot. We want each branch to have its own little thing, which means we're probably... we can pretend that this is the branch and then this one grew off of that or something. But now that I say that, I'm questioning myself. Because I don't want to get rid of these, I don't think. Unless I bring this completely down. There's some more junk here to get rid of. Let's clear out some of this so we can see what we're working with. Get rid of you. Okay. All right. So that's off of that other branch. So we're looking at this guy and this guy. And I think I want this being our front. So I don't think we want all three of these. We might actually be getting rid of all this. Pulling this over. Or do we want to pull this down? So, thinking back to what I said initially, if we want this bulk here, we don't want a whole lot on this bottom side. We want a little bit of something to balance it. Okay, I think we're definitely going to be getting rid of this guy. Well, this is kind of the strongest branch on that section, so maybe we'll be getting rid of this. It's not looking great there with that big old crack or whatever that is. Did these just break apart? This is a difficult decision right here. think I'm going to get rid of all of this. Though it does, if we're going to be looking at this from here, bringing this down, gosh, this is a tough choice. Maybe we're going to be getting rid of this too so we can see that trunk. What if we look at it from the other direction? Does that change our opinion at all? Yeah, that's just not interesting right now. Can't deal with it. If we thin this guy out, that might work better. Kind of like that. And then we can maybe get rid of this guy. That might work. So I'm leaning towards keeping this guy and getting rid of this one. But if we get rid of this one, we've got this becoming the branch. Might want to get rid of that guy because it's technically growing out of the same whorl as that, what our new trunk is going to be. I did not expect to have such major decisions on this little guy. I was thinking we'd just have a field day clearing out stuff in the middle and just getting what we get. But there's a lot of choices here. I'm gonna switch over to this main section for a bit. Try to clean it up. See if any inspiration strikes once we got a more complete picture. So again, I'm just gonna pull out all the weak stuff. All these really minor branches, everything close to the trunk. So that we can hopefully get a better visual of what we're going to be doing. Again, with this mass of stuff in here. Okay, is that an actual good branch, or is it? Let's get rid of this guy right here. I don't think there's any way we're going to want that, whatever it is. Can I pull this out? Holy moly. this is not something that we want, this little guy. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this is our main trunk here. And we definitely don't want that clogging all that up there. Probably don't want that. Definitely don't want that. Let's clear this area a little bit. All these little growths clogging everything up. Try to clear out some of these branches so we can actually see what they are. Let's get rid of you. Don't need you guys on this branch. Clear you off a bit. This is... how did I miss all that? Oh, I hadn't gotten around to it yet. Okay. That's coming off. I think this whole section is just gone. Where's this coming from? We want all that, so we don't want all this stuff cluttering it up along the way. This might be a little bit too aggressive, but I committed. Oh, that's that one kind of broken one. We don't want to rely too heavily on that in case it's actually not going to survive. I think we can afford to clear out some more of this stuff over here. Get this branch looking a bit nicer. Let's clear out some of this. Yeah, this might actually have a lot more going on there. Okay, so where are we at? Okay, well, that was the mailman alarm. And I believe I was just thinking that we still need to do a lot of clearing in this area so that we've got these separate things. I think this needs to come out to open this space up, and then we'll I'm back to that one conundrum I had, whether we want to move this one over here and take this one out. I remember why I stopped looking at this now and moved on to other things, because that is a tough one. Let's just get rid of both of them. Cut them both out. Perfect. That may actually be what I end up doing. In the meantime, where is all this stuff coming from? Let's clear out the center of this and see if that gives us any more info to work with. These scissors are so sharp that I'm terrified I'm going to snip a piece that I don't want to. Oh, okay, that works. Just fall right off. Don't need you. Probably don't need all three of these. We'll come back to that. Okay, so this has its own spot, so that's okay. That next whorl up here, though, let's try and clear this area up a little bit. Get rid of some of this junk. Billion branches growing out from the same spot. I'm definitely enjoying just how much pruning there is to do on this guy. So apparently these, what are they? Cypresses. If you want to have a lot of decisions to make, these apparently are good for that. Okay, what have we got here? That is too many of you, so this one's in between those two. So I think this one's going away because it's too close to both of them, so no matter which one we keep, unless we kept this one and got rid of the other two, but I don't think that's the right call. So regardless of which of the two remaining ones we keep, that middle one had to go. I can't even snip it out, they're so dense. Okay. There's too much going on here, but I'm not sure what to get rid of yet. Probably this thing. Where is this growing out of? There. Oh, I don't like this, but once again, I committed to it. Let's get rid of you and you. Okay, what have we got going on here? These are once again splitting, so I don't think we want to keep both of those Want a little bit of separation there and there. And I haven't wired anything yet, so I'm sure some of these decisions would be affected by having done more wiring, because then I'd know, oh, I can move this guy over here, or I won't be able to move this guy over here. So this is all just based off of, for the most part, what we can accomplish by cutting things out, not so much moving them around. Let's clean up these branches. And so I'm seeing 4 elements here. This guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And I doubt we're going to want to keep all of them. These 2 in particular here seem iffy. Let's take a look at our actual viewing angle and where those all are. So looking at it from here, I don't like this guy so much. I think this is going to be right where this is, and I think one of these other 2 will be nicer for creating something. So we do want to have something behind this trunk when we're looking at it from the front, I think. But I don't like this one unless we tilt it and just have it be a very small thing in the back there. Then we might not need this in the front. This is a good time to note, again, that I don't actually know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of brainstorming and seeing if anything catches my fancy. Given that we're currently planning on keeping this, looking at it some more, this seems way too much stuff here. It's going to be competing with all that. So I am going to make a decision that I might regret. And I'll just go in here and snip. Well, I don't immediately hate it, so that's good. This one is probably also going to need to get trimmed down in response. I like that this one's naturally growing towards this, but that might not be what we want. I might just get rid of this too, so that we have 2 very distinct clumps, or get rid of this guy. Yeah, this is this cut and that last one, I think were maybe too hasty, but now I've made them, so that's where we're at. And then if we want these to be nice and separate, we don't want all this. This is just too much. we'll have this little guy in the back. Oof. I don't know, do I want to keep this? Okay, and this is committing a no-no right here of crossing over there. I think this might go. We're really making a mess of things now, but once you start, you can't stop. You should stop. I should stop. But okay, so now that we've got a little bit more visibility over here, this is probably what I should have been doing for the last 5 minutes, is just clearing out all this nonsense and then taking another look at things. Now this region, I want this to be the main mass. Hello. No, we want this. That's hiding that now though. Where's my bit that I said was gonna... Now this feels very heavy over here. What's this doing? Okay, so if this is our tree, we want to show off this, I think. So where's... This is too much down here, I think. So it's time once again to just have at it. I'm gonna leave that little guy there because this branch is small enough that that might not look out of place, but it's just got too much going on. It's too bushy. Where's this coming from? And then this is just clogging stuff up over here. Time to clear out some more of this. Whoops. This is that very long, thin branch that I mentioned. I'm not sure if I want, but you know, maybe we can have it move off and be its own little thing. At some point. Still way too much going on in the center of this. So let's see if I can get in there. Clean that out. Just trying to open things up a little bit here. This guy can come off. That little bit. Maybe even this, wherever that's coming from. Do we want to get rid of all that? I think so. And then I think we'll want both of these, but we'll leave them alone for now. I'm still not getting that separation here that I wanted. And I think it's due partially due to this guy, because he's hiding that secondary trunk. But we might be able to pull it over like so. And partially due to this guy. And this guy. So what happens if we just take all that out? That's too much gone, I think. What happens if we just remove this guy? That's looking better. And we can maybe bring this guy up. I think this guy has to go. Oh. Ooh. Not liking it. This guy might also be unnecessary. But we've been chopping so much off that I don't want to get rid of it just yet. Okay. Let's get back to this mess up here. So dense, but this guy seems like a small thing. Maybe not. It was clogging that space up though, so pretty sure it had to go. These little guys can come out. That's not beautiful. It's really clogging up that branch. Let's get you out of there. What's this? Not something we want. Don't know about that. We'll leave it alone for now. Let's see. These are very close together. I think. I think this one comes out. Let's clean up this branch a little bit. Give it some breathing room. Like so. And then let's do the same for this one. I'm just trying to reduce the density of the stuff in the center so that it looks more like actual branches. Instead of just this glob of green filling up the middle of it. Oh, what did I do? Oh, that's that. Well, I may have done a bad thing, but hopefully it'll get over it. In case that wasn't visible, I tried to cut this little thing and then discovered that that little thing is actually all of this. So hopefully I did not damage it so much that it's going to die. But we'll know in a little while, I guess. Gosh, there's still so much stuff in here. Some of this definitely needs to go. I'm not sure what though. So okay, I'm pretty happy with this bit. I'm not sure about all this other stuff yet. I'm not liking this mass. Yeah, there we go. This is what we want, I think. We don't want all this. Saying it like that makes me nervous, but Maybelline. But I think that might be right. We might just want one of these branches. Maybe get rid of this one. This one. Trim that one down a bit. Let's... Oh boy. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Okay. One moment. To accommodate a cat. Oh boy. Okay, so looking at it less through the camera and more at what I'm actually seeing here, I think we can get a nice arc going if we tweak the lengths of some of these guys. Don't know yet, but anyway, the question at hand was, which of these two do we keep? Because I definitely think we only want one of them. And I think we might keep this one because it makes a nice little alternation between that and that, unless we get rid of this. How does one little plant. I have so many difficult decisions. I think we want that. Filling that out over there. Which would mean we don't want this. It's growing out of that same spot. Watch me accidentally cut it off. Might want to shorten these. I'm not really confident in doing that. I think we're still top heavy here. Pull this way, I think. So we want to get rid of some of this, have this be more pulling over to the right to get that kind of swoop. Man, now that we're getting down to fewer branches left, all these decisions get a lot harder. They start to feel a lot more significant. This has too much junk growing out the back of it, I think. And it's messing with stuff. Yeesh. Okay, let's find a little join here and trim this back, which I don't really want to do, but I think we need to, because we're going to want this to form a little step. This bit right here is too much. Okay, so I don't have any wire yet, and I've not wired anything, but presumably at some point we can get that to be more like that. It's kind of wild, growing in all different directions instead of nice and flat like those. I guess because it was wedged in the middle forever. Got, actually this might just need to go, and we'll just bring this nice bunch over. think that might be the play. Because this is so all over the place that I don't know. I'll leave it for now. Back to this top area. I think this thing can come out. Or can it? Oh, look at that. That looks interesting. Maybelline, please. That's never interested you before. Why start now? But this, look at that. That's a nice little stairway. Can we get that effect with these branches? It's not as nice. Okay, that was something that we found right there. I don't like this branch so much. So I'd rather use these two. And then this can be like a transition, continuing the step, but it'll be coming off of this. Ooh, I like that. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. This is coming out. These need a bit more separation. Okay. Alright, this is our front. This will get pushed over here. This will come down here. This will move over. And we are gonna have something very cool. This little bit might need to get removed, but we'll see how it reacts to being wired once I get wire. Yeah, that's gonna be cool. And then this one over here will come up like that. This isn't tall enough to continue that, so this may just come out here like that. Okay, what's our next step gonna be? Holy moly, that's such a neat thing that we found. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what's the next one? Is it this or this? I think this one this one's no good for that. So I think this one comes over. Yeah. Get this set up the way we're envisioning here. That's just going to go somewhere out there. This is going to come here. That's going to be like our crown. Yeah, I like that. I don't like this. And then this can just kind of cascade down this side. It'll need some trimming, but my gosh, this is fantastic. This stairway. Maybelline. One moment. Okay, wow, I still can't get over this. The way that just popped up there. So I'm just going to keep looking at it until I accidentally break a chunk off. This comes, I don't know if we'll keep that, but that's not going to be part of this staircase. That goes up there. That comes out there. And then this just falls down on this side. One of these guys in the back. Probably not so much of it. So I think this right side needs a little bit of clearing out. But I don't want to do too much because I really want to keep that feeling of it. Just water falling down on this side. We might not need these guys. How does that look if we take... they might be okay in the background there. This guy I think needs slightly less going on. Unless we really bring it out here. But no. Gosh, I wish I had some wire to take a good look at that, because I think that's going to be just fantastic. And given that, we don't want all this stuff cluttering this up, because we want it to be that nice isolated little step sitting there on its lonesome. I definitely think this area over here is too dense. I'm a little bit worried about getting rid of stuff. This section should maybe come out. Or get reduced. Let's see see how much is that contributing over here. Not a whole lot. We should be able to get that nice cascade even without it. I'm going to take this piece that's growing to the right out so that we've got a more clearly defined cascade. Wouldn't that have been horrible if suddenly it just emptied out that entire section? Okay, so now I think we're going to want this guy down here. I don't think we want quite as much of him as what we've got. But I don't know. I'll leave him alone for now, because I think we've done enough to this poor thing. Some of these could use a bit of cleaning up, I think. Try to get this to bend more like that. Continue that sweep down. This can fill in some of this space in the middle, because I think it is very empty at the moment. Probably going to want to pare it down so that it's not distracting from our steps. My gosh, those steps. Very pleased. Okay, well, I think that's about gonna do it for this guy for now. I think this area needs a bit of fine tuning, but I'm not up for it at the moment. I think I've spent most of my ability to concentrate on this. It's come quite a ways. I'm gonna see if I can end with a good shot of those stairs. So this is gonna come out here in the middle. Yeah, that middle piece is definitely going to need to be cleaned up some. That very bottom one will probably need to get smaller. This one over here as well. And this is going to need to be filled in more. This one's going to need to be smaller as well. You might only want one of these over here. Not sure on that yet. This is almost definitely too much over here. This section will probably need to come off. All right, well, once I get the wire that I ordered, I'm probably not going to wait for the club meeting because I'm very excited about this step thing that we discovered. So I'm just going to end it here and start cleaning up.